It's tough, very tough to hear that. And the family's going through some things, and
Did you want to show support to Thaddeus? Or
it's a family. It's a family, and it's a tragedy.
Police accused the defendant of spitting, throwing things, and he allegedly said this.
This is so funny. All I had to do was kill my mom, and then this is it. Is that stomp her face in?
It's all over. It's a crisis, and why aren't they getting the help that they should be getting? Yeah, it's sad.
Born in Haiti, 53-year-old Astra Joseph moved to the United States with the dream of providing a better life for herself and her future children. She sought opportunities that would enable her family to thrive and live a fulfilling life. In every sense, Astra was one of those exceptional individuals whose presence left a profound impact on everyone she encountered. To those who had the privilege of knowing her, she was much more than a neighbor or a friend. She became family. Astra worked from home and was known throughout the neighborhood for her warm, welcoming nature. Along with her husband, she organized neighborhood block parties, fostering a sense of unity and camaraderie among their community. These gatherings became cherished events, bringing people closer and building lasting connections. Astrid had a passion for learning and self-improvement, as evidenced by her attendance at photography workshops the previous year. She was a peaceful, kind-hearted soul who was always eager to sharpen her craft and continue growing as an individual, all while remaining deeply engaged with the people around her. Her unwavering enthusiasm for life was contagious, and her presence always brightened any room. Her family was also going through a season of improvement, having recently completed renovations to their home, including installing solar panels on the roof and building a new fence in the backyard. These upgrades reflected their efforts to build a future filled with progress and sustainability. The Joseph family was known for their loving, tight-knit bond. Astra's devotion to her two sons was unmatched. She poured her heart and soul into ensuring they had every opportunity for a bright future, working tirelessly to provide them with a life full of love and support. Life was going well for Astrid and her family, and their lives were full of promise and joy, but little did anyone know, a chain of events was unfolding that would soon send shockwaves through their community, leaving a deep and lasting impact on everyone who knew them. The tragedy that would strike the Joseph family was something no one could have ever predicted, forever altering the lives of those closest to them. On the afternoon of March 4th, police were called to a home on Nichols Avenue after a distraught and frantic husband dialed 911, claiming that he had found his wife lying on the kitchen floor with her head pressed against the pantry door. Upon arrival at the scene, officers were met with a truly gruesome sight. The victim was identified as 53-year-old Astrid Joseph, who tragically passed away at the scene after succumbing to multiple wounds across her body, the kitchen knife lying next to her bloody body. Astrid's husband quickly noticed that the family's Nissan Pathfinder was missing, prompting police to track the vehicle. It was swiftly located, and the occupant was Astrid's 22-year-old son, Thaddeus Joseph. He was arrested at South Shore Plaza in Braintree and taken into custody for questioning. Later that afternoon, the Nichols Avenue home was cordoned off with yellow caution tape, and a heavy police presence was visible outside. Neighbors reported seeing a man, identified as the husband, standing in the street crying uncontrollably when police arrived. According to a police report, Thaddeus Joseph was extremely uncooperative and responded with sarcasm during the booking process. Upon his arrest, he made a chilling statement. "This is so funny. All I had to do was kill my mom, and then this is it." Astrid's husband informed police that Thaddeus had confided in his mother about experiencing anxiety and mental health issues in the days leading up to the tragic event. The disturbing details of the incident only deepened the heartbreak for the family, who had already been struggling with their son's mental health challenges. Court documents revealed that Eval Joseph, the father of Thaddeus Joseph, received a distressing phone call from his wife Astrid. According to the report, the phone sounded as though it was on speaker, and Eval heard Thaddeus say, "I have your phone." Astra responded urgently, "I'm your mother. Give me the phone." Then the call abruptly ended. Prosecutors shared that, prior to the incident, Thaddeus had been struggling with anxiety and mental health issues. In fact, just days before the tragedy, he had told his parents that he was feeling overwhelmed and anxious and that he didn't want to be around anymore. Thaddeus had also mentioned that he was taking a mental health day off from work the day of the murder. A family friend described the Joseph family as quiet and peaceful, expressing the profound sadness surrounding the situation. A longtime neighbor was equally devastated by the news. She had known the Joseph family for over 15 years and recalled how kind and involved they were saying. They're very nice people, very good to their kids, and the kids were never any problems. I feel very sad. She fondly remembered interactions with the family, such as exchanging waves and chats with Mrs. Joseph during walks. The neighbor, who lived a few houses down, hadn't heard anything unusual on the afternoon of the tragedy. She had last seen the Joseph family car, parked in the driveway, around 2 in the afternoon, shortly before Thaddeus left in it after allegedly harming his mother. Just 2 hours later, Evel Joseph emerged from the house, visibly distraught and inconsolable. His grief was evident to neighbors standing outside, who described the heartbreaking scene as surreal. Evel had been away at work in Dorchester when the series of disturbing calls began. According to the documents, Thaddeus had been home on Tuesday, taking a mental health day. That morning, Thaddeus had texted his father that he was going through some difficulties and had thoughts of harming himself. Evel missed a call from Thaddeus just after 11 that afternoon, and when he called back, Thaddeus didn't answer. Evel then tried contacting Astrid, who suggested that he should speak with their son. However, when Evel attempted to call again, Thaddeus ignored him and texted back saying it was a test. At noon, Evel received a call from his wife's phone, but it seemed that Thaddeus was holding it. Evel described hearing his son's voice saying, "I have your phone," followed by Astrid's voice urging him to return it. The call then ended abruptly. Evel made several attempts to call back, but after an hour of failed attempts, he decided to leave work early. The commute took another hour, and when he arrived home, he discovered Astrid on the kitchen floor. As sirens and flashing lights filled the neighborhood, neighbors struggled to process the tragic turn of events. Some described the atmosphere as surreal, with the police tape and emergency vehicles starkly contrasting the quiet neighborhood they had known. One neighbor stated, "It's just heartbreaking to think of what happened." The events on Nichols Avenue have left the community in shock as they try to make sense of the senseless tragedy that shattered the peaceful lives of the Joseph family.
Tragedy indeed. So 22-year-old Thaddeus Joseph is being held without bail. We did talk to neighbors in Avon who say they are in complete shock. The family has always been nice to them. They even said that this family would hold a block party of sorts during the summer just to get the community together.
Very, very sad for them. Mr. Joseph broke down over there.
Family seemed like a good family, and the dad would always check up on me and, make sure I'm getting through college.
The Avon community in shock. 22-year-old Thaddeus Joseph appearing at Stoughton District Court Wednesday morning, accused of murdering his mother, 53-year-old Astra Joseph, at their family home on Nichols Avenue in Avon. According to the prosecutor, the victim was found dead by her husband and the suspect's father, Yelif Joseph.
They saw a black female lying face down with her head turned to the side inside of a pantry door. There was a pool of blood on the floor next to her head and a carving knife.
The assistant DA for Norfolk County, Christine Cullinan, says the suspect's father told police his son was recently going through mental health struggles and had stayed home from work, adding that around midday Tuesday, Astrid called her husband, who heard the two arguing through the phone before it disconnected.
The defendant had told the victim and him that he was having anxiety and mental health issues, and that he was also having thoughts of hurting himself.
The father rushed home and found his wife dead in the kitchen and his son and the family's Nissan Pathfinder gone. Braintree police found that SUV and the suspect at South Shore Plaza in Braintree Tuesday night, where he was arrested and allegedly admitted to the murder.
He was acting somewhat erratically during booking, but he did make this statement as well. "This is so funny. All I had to do was kill my mom, and then this is it. Is that stomp her face in?"
A friend of the family calling this a tragedy.
The family's going through some things, and they're trying to just kind of come to grips with what happened.
23-year-old Thaddeus Joseph was arraigned on a murder charge in Stoughton District Court. During the proceedings, he was ordered to be held without bail, and his pretrial hearing was scheduled for April 10th. The courtroom was filled with tension as the gravity of the situation set in, with all eyes on the young man accused of taking the life of his mother in a shocking act of violence. The tragic story of Thaddeus Joseph and his mother, Astrid, highlights the importance of recognizing and addressing mental health issues before they escalate. The need for strong family support systems, open communication, and timely intervention when someone expresses anxiety or suicidal thoughts is important. The devastating consequences of ignoring warning signs or failing to get the proper help serve as a reminder of how critical it is to prioritize mental health care and seek professional assistance when necessary. This story also emphasizes the importance of creating a supportive environment within families and communities to prevent such tragedies. Rest in peace, Astra Joseph.